Good Monday morning. It is time for Money Mondays here again at Unmarked Street and the Business of Apparel. I hope you had a great weekend. This week, I want to start diving into some more topics about budgeting. The more and more that we meet with new potential clients and start working with them and start seeing what their numbers actually look like, leads me to feel like this topic is something that should be talked about a little bit more. And so I want to give you some advice that we've been giving to our clients and to our students who have been taking the Business of Apparel course, what it is that they kind of need to be looking at, especially when they're first starting to look at budgeting. And some of this is really general advice that I hope you're following also in your personal life. But really, really basic number one piece of advice here is that whatever you're spending every single month should equal at least $1 less than what you make every single month, plus whatever credit you have available. So, for example, here at our company, we might spend a little bit more than we necessarily make every single month because we're really trying to push forward with certain ads, or we're trying to push forward with hiring a new team member so that we can offload some work from our existing team members so that we can free them up to actually do different activities. So as we kind of push our budget where we're maybe spending a little bit more than we're making every month, I'm also consciously always looking at like, what is our credit card balance? If we had loans on the books, or we had an investor, or we had someone who had given us a grant, if we had maybe won like a competition and won a grant, we would be looking at that in addition to what we're making every month as like essentially the cap. So we're always looking to make sure that we're not overextending our credit. We're never maxing out a credit card. We're making sure that we're trying to make more and more every month by offering new services or figuring out how to get new clients to come work with us or new resources. And we're bringing people in with new free content and ideas and education and innovations that we can actually offer then to our entire community. But sometimes it draws people in and they say, hey, if I can get this for free from them, imagine what I could get if I actually paid them a little bit of money. So that tends to see a little bit of pick up as you start to add more and more value to the content that you're sharing, or again, the resources that you may be giving away to your community for free if you're starting a business. Now, if you're an apparel business, which is who most of you are who are actually listening to me, this could be a way of, giving away, maybe you're going to do some freelance work, or maybe you're a graphic design expert and you have an apparel idea. So you started this apparel company, but you could do some graphic design freelancing on the side to bring in some extra money. There are so many different ways that you can kind of boost your bottom line by taking what you have as the core business and then thinking about what could be paired with that in a way that's easier to create. Maybe it's a digital resource. Maybe it's not something that you actually need to pull inventory in. Maybe you look at drop shipping options that can supplement your actual apparel line. So you're making this bespoke, custom, unique apparel in your line, but maybe it's also a really good opportunity for you to offer hats and t-shirts and bags that are a drop shipping item. So you don't have to carry that inventory, but you can still be pulling in sales off of that stuff. There are many different ways to boost the actual income that you're making every single month. And I will say that we here at Unmarked Street, we definitely use our credit cards to the use that they are, right? Like if I need to be spending a little bit of extra money on ads this month in hopes of bringing extra people in to our community, we can put that on a credit card and know that over time we're going to be able to pay it off with the rewards that we see from putting those ads out. So I want you to really start to think about the max on your credit card and the income that you have every month really being the maximum that you can spend every month. And this is the number one issue that we see, especially with new brands as they're going out and starting their apparel line. They end up spending a lot more and they get themselves into a kind of debt that isn't just like, I've got a balance on my credit card and so I'm getting charged interest fees, which can be a little bit useful. Instead, what they're getting into is debt where they're not paying their factory. They're not paying for shipping. They're not paying for the items that they actually need. They're not paying their team. They're going to their team at the end of the month and saying, I'm sorry, I don't have the money to actually pay you for the work that you've done this month. And that's not the kind of stuff that you want to be going into debt with. You want to be creating trust with your vendors. So you want to be paying them on time. You want to be creating trust with all of your suppliers and all of your extraneous suppliers. So if you have a FedEx account and you have a balance there, know that if you have a balance for too long and you're not paying it, FedEx is going to shut down your account and then you're not going to be able to ship goods anymore. If your team isn't getting paid on a regular basis, they are not going to stick with you for very long because they're going to need to go somewhere where they're actually getting paid. People need to be paid for the work that they're done. So I want you to start thinking about that in a way, and I want you to figure out how to then whittle down your spending. So if you're overspending, I want you to figure out how to whittle that down. You might have to make some really, really tough decisions. And in the apparel world, a lot of the times what that looks like is, you're developing 5 new styles this upcoming season. But when it comes to being able to place the purchase orders for those 5 new styles, you're not going to be able to purchase the MOQ of all 5. So either you place that PO knowing that you can't actually pay the bill, which is going to continue to break down the relationship that you have with your vendor, or you need to actually then take those 5 styles that you developed. You spend a whole bunch of time, you spend a whole bunch of your team's time, you spend a whole bunch of money developing those styles, and you're only going to be able to actually buy in your purchase order 1 or 2 of those items. So you just wasted a whole bunch of time. You could have been putting that work off. You could have been putting those fees off to a later time in your business and only doing the couple of styles that you were actually going to be able to afford. So that's usually the number one thing that we actually see with people who are starting out, is that they start too ambitiously and they're not asking the right questions up front. So when you go to a new manufacturer, the number one question I want you to ask is, what is your MOQ and what is your MCQ? What is the minimum order quantity per style that they're going to require you to purchase? And what is the minimum color quantity per style that they're going to require you to purchase? And when you work in your line sheet, and if you need a line sheet, I want you to come to our next workshop. It's free on Friday for 90 minutes. Within the first 10 minutes of the workshop, I'm going to give you a line plan for free that you can use to then calculate out actually how many styles you can develop. So I want you to come, get this free resource, get the free gift, stay for the rest of the information in the workshop. You're going to have an opportunity to get a lot more templates, a lot more help, a lot more support. If you actually stay for the entire workshop, you're going to learn a lot more. But if you come sign up, go to thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets. And I want you to just sign up. Maybe it's just for the worksheet that you can get, because if you can start crunching your numbers to figure out how many styles you can actually produce with the amount of money that you have on hand, you're going to be in much better shape than if you just start creating everything that you want and you don't even know if you can afford it. So you have to start looking at expenses versus your actual income in a way that makes sense for long term in your business. If you go into the first 2, 3, 5 years of your business and you're getting yourself into such a debt hole that you can't get yourself out of, you're going to find that you're going to be closing your business. And we've watched way too many people do this, especially in 2023 and 2024. 2024 was one of the hardest years for small businesses that we've seen on record. 41% of businesses in 2024 said that their bottom line gross revenue was less than 2023, with so many people also reporting that 2023 was a bad year for them. So I want you to understand that we all have to be really responsible and brave brand owners at this time. We have to be looking at our numbers in a way that's going to allow us to have longevity. And so I've seen some brands out there making really tough decisions. They're having to let team members go at this time with the hope that as things change, if the economy shifts, they can bring them back someday. But they're making the right decision for those people, letting them go, to say, I'm giving you this opportunity essentially to go find a better paying, a more stable job right now because I can't provide that to you. And as a business owner, I'll be the first to say that when you have to do that with people, it's heartbreaking. It's so hard to have people on your team who are relying on you And then you have to tell them, like, look, things aren't going the way that I wanted them to this year. Things aren't going the way that we expected. And so I have to make this tough decision, not just for me in the business, but for you too, because I'm leading you down a path where I might not be able to pay you for the work that you do. And I don't want to get myself or you in that situation. So it's actually more responsible of me to tell you that you should go find a different role, be able to do something different where you can get a reliable paycheck. And in the economy right now, that's really tough because people are vying for a lot of the same jobs. It's a tough job market, but making those kinds of tough decisions is the right thing to do right now. And it is the brave thing to do for your brand. So I just want you to start thinking about some basics, like super, super simple math, like take your income plus credit, subtract what you want to be able to expense that month, and then I want you to have at least $1 left over every month. And that's your goal as we move into some more information about budgeting this month. We are putting together some really great resources that the community has asked of us here, and we plan to launch those mid to late February. So we're still working on actually making sure the ebook that we're putting together on the business plan, the amount of savings that you need to have in your upfront in your brand, and then also how to break down your budget by year. So year one, your budget is going to look very different from year 10, right? Well, how do you break down those budgets? Like, what are the percentages? Should you be spending 40% on team in year one? Great. Well, how much are you spending on team in year 10? It's probably only 25%. These are the kinds of percentages that we're going to help you break down so that you can see how to really allocate your budget properly. So we're putting some of those resources together right now. We did some fun marketing over the weekend. I actually just recorded a new video. We did some photos so that we can have a fun like landing page where you can come and get this information. And so that's coming out really soon, but it's really led me down this research rabbit hole of budgeting and making sure that you have the right information and you have the right tools at your exposure. Again, I want you to come to our free workshop so you can get the free tools that we're already giving out on this topic. Go to thebusinessofapparel.com/secrets to sign up. We're hosting this workshop every single Friday this year because we want more of you to get these resources, get this information, and have access to support in a way that is unprecedented right now. We're actually taking a lot of the other workshops and courses that are out in our industry to see how ours compares, see what we could do better, see what other people are offering. And we're finding that by coming to our workshop, people are learning a lot of great pertinent information that a lot of the other workshops or coaches or freelancers or influencers out in the world don't even know how to teach. So it's our 20-year corporate background. All of our team has 20 years corporate background that's leading us to be able to teach this information. A lot of other people out there don't have corporate backgrounds to be able to even learn this information. So if you're actually an influencer or a freelancer, and you're attending these other things and you want to come learn this information so you can teach it too, like, we encourage you to come as well, because we want you to have the tools that you need to make a better program or offer that to your students or to your community. We welcome all. We want everybody to have as much information as possible. So again, please sign up. We would love to see you there this Friday. We are hosting again every single Friday, so it is open to you so that your schedule can kind of work around what we're doing. But I hope this was helpful. If it was helpful to you, please share it with somebody, and leave comments for us. We love just kind of interacting with this community, hearing what you think about the content that we're sharing. If there's anything you'd like for us to share, please also leave that in the comments. We're happy to teach on something that you would love to learn. Okay, have a great rest of your week. Have a great Monday, and I'll talk to you next week.